Hello, and welcome to another episode of Sharing Wisdom. I'm your host, Angie Wisdom, and today's episode is just me and you. I'm going solo today, and it's going to be a short and sweet one, probably maybe 15 minutes. So hang with me here because I'm going to give you some really great information on how to check in on your year so far. We've just passed over that midway mark, and I want you to ask yourself, are you having the year that you want? Is it going the way you thought it would go? Doesn't matter how you answer here. If you say no, no big deal. We still have time to adjust. We still have half a year to do something about it. And if you're saying, yes, it is, that's great too. We're going to dig in and get a little bit more clarity on what's working for you so that if you want to double down and create more success than you've already created, you have the ability to do that too. Now, this podcast isn't just for those of you who have set goals and have mapped out your 2024. Matter of fact, this podcast may even be more beneficial to the people who haven't mapped out what they want for the year. Because if you think about it, oftentimes you come to the end of the year and you don't even really know whether you accomplished what you wanted to. Did you ever even think about what you wanted your year to look like when you started the year? All normal things that pop up in your mind, but I want to make sure that you have the opportunity and the clarity you need to do something about it so that this year, December 31st, 2024, when you are celebrating the end of the year and starting your new year, you can say that you intentionally had the year that you wanted. It's not just some surprise of going, well, that was a good year, or, well, that wasn't really great. Wish it was a little bit different. It doesn't have to be a surprise or grab bag here. You have the ability to create exactly what you want in your year, but you have to have the awareness. You have to know in order to grow. You have to have the clarity to actually do something about it so you can get where you want to go. So I'm going to take you through 6 questions, 6 powerful questions to help you figure out where you are and what kind of pivots you might need to make. So again, this podcast is for whether you've mapped out your year and your goals or whether you haven't. Tune in. It's going to make a difference for you. But why do we do this? A couple of reasons. One, because you have to make sure that you're on the right track for getting what you want. If you want a say in what you create every single year, if you want a say in what your life has for you, then you have to have awareness around what you want and where you're going. So it's just clarity in general. Another good reason is also we often don't really celebrate the success that we are achieving. And that's super important because it gives us confidence. It gives us that hope. It gives us drive. It gives us motivation when we recognize, wow, what I'm doing is really working and I'm proud of myself. And so checking in this midpoint, you have the ability to tap into that and go, well, am I proud? What is working to really give yourself some recognition and acknowledgement around what you're doing. And on the flip side of that, it also gives us the clarity to know what isn't working. Because if you think about it, and I've said this all the time, and I know you've heard it out there from other people, 85, 90% of our actions, of our thoughts, are autopilot. They're coming from our subconscious mind. So you're just going through the motions. You're doing things every single day, even if it's keeping your business moving and growing a little bit. We don't often get real conscious about what is creating the success or what is holding us back from success. So that's what this 15 minutes is for you today. We're just going to tap into some clarity. We're going to create some awareness. And listen, what you do with it is up to you. You don't have to jump into action from it. But at minimum, I want you to know so that you have the choice to do something about it. Now, I put this mid-year check-in out to the people on my newsletter. I send it to my clients, and I'll link it in these podcast notes as well, so you can either download it and write this out yourself. And I also have an online link so you can complete that and your answers come to me, which is so fun. I get random assessments from people that I've never even met before, sharing with me how their year is going, what's been working, what hasn't, and just putting some information out there that I can comment back on and give you insights or acknowledgement around. So if you're that type of person who really want to share it with somebody, please complete the online version. I'll get your assessment, and I promise you, I will comment back to you. I will give you some insights, acknowledgement, anything that I see fit there. So feel free to use either one. But today, I'm going to take you through it verbally so that regardless of whether you are driving or walking, whatever you're doing, you can think about these questions right now in the moment and create some clarity for yourself. And clarity creates opportunity. So let's do this. First question, how do you feel about your progress on your 2024 goals? And if you don't have goals, that's okay. Just how do you feel about your progress of 2024? What do you think has been successful for you? Do you like the way your year is shaping up? Are you kind of blah about it? Or has it not been so good? We just need to create awareness around how you feel. When you think about it, how do you feel in your heart, in your belly, wherever it may be showing up in your body? How do you feel about it? That's simple. Now, I want to ask you a second question. When you think about your year so far, think about where you have devoted the most amount of time. Maybe you're working a lot. Maybe you're spending a lot of time with family. Maybe you're traveling. Maybe you're in a state of worry. But I want you to ask yourself, is there an area in your life that you'd like to devote more attention to in the second half of the year? So it's kind of a twofold question. Where is a lot of your time gone already in 2024? And what kind of awareness do you have about devoting additional time to something else in these last 6 months of the year? Some of the responses that I get often are they've spent a lot of time working, they've spent a lot of time grinding, and they really would like to devote more attention to their physical health or their mental health or their family. Sometimes I get responses that they've really devoted a lot of time on the personal side and the fun side, and they've been traveling a lot. And that's all been great and adventurous, but their business has really suffered, and they like to devote more time towards growing their business. Again, no right or wrong here. All of this is just awareness. We don't need to judge it, but we do need to know. So that question, where is a lot of your time gone so far, the first 6 months of the year? Where would you like to devote more time and attention to in the second half of the year? And sometimes these are just one word answers. You don't have to overthink it. It doesn't have to be a big master plan. We just need to bring that awareness front and center. That will grow for us and we can do something about it. Now, I've got an assessment question for you here on a scale of 1 to 10. I want you to think about if you had to rate on a scale of 1 to 10, meaning 1 very unhappy, 10 very happy or satisfied. How satisfied are you with your 2024 so far? Say that's a middle of the road, a 5, or are you ecstatic about what's happened, a 9 or 10? Just give it an overall rating. And the next question I want to ask you is, what's been contributing to your success so far? Now, before you answer that, you have to define success for yourself. I don't necessarily mean success in income, success in your business. I just mean success for how you define it. Whatever you want to deem as successful, maybe it's a balanced life, maybe it's building a portfolio of income properties, maybe it's scaling your team. However you define it, I want you to really answer the question, what's been contributing to it so far? And there's several different ways that you can answer that question in terms of contribution. So think outside the box here. Sometimes I'll get people's assessments back and they may say something in particular like journaling every morning, focusing on my goals, cutting out social media. It may be something really specific that they can measure and know that that's been impactful on their journey so far this year and it's created success for them. On the other hand, it may be something a little bit more from a mental health standpoint, like I've let go of what people think of me. I've quit worrying about the things I can't control. I've dedicated more time to my own well-being and self-care. So this can come in a lot of different ways as far as what's contributing to your success. So this is a really important one because it's it's not always so task oriented, such as, well, I've reached out to so many people and that has created more business development for me. It may be, but be willing to look outside the box of what's really kind of on a macro level contributed to your success so far this year. It's super important because when you figure out what that is, that becomes like a magic ingredient to your success, and you're able to capitalize on that. You're able to do more of it, or at minimum, you're able to lock that into your subconscious and really know that that is an important piece of your success. So I'll give you an example here. So somebody might look at their year so far and they've done a great deal of business. They consider it very successful. They've had great physical health, whatever they deem a success. They say, yes, this has been really, really great. And when they answer what's been contributing to it, they may say, it's been my morning routine. It's been taking care of myself and not running on empty. That may be what contributed to their success. Just acknowledging that, really saying it out loud, writing it down on a piece of paper, does something to our subconscious mind, where in the future, if you are not in that place of success, if you are struggling, you're going to have this little bit of information that you get to pull from your subconscious mind of going, I remember when I was in that place of creating more success for myself, I really took care of myself. I didn't allow myself to run on empty, and that made a huge difference. It's that awareness that you need to be able to pull forward in the moments of struggle that make a huge difference. And that may seem like duh, but think about it. If you don't acknowledge it, if you don't bring that forward, you could go through your whole year and never really make the connection that that is what has created more success for you. And this is where people struggle with understanding their recipe for success in all areas, whether it's that personal time for yourself and not running on empty, or whether it's making new connections, whether it is being your authentic self, whatever area has contributed to your success. If you don't extract it and know, you won't know to use it next time. You won't know to put that in your game plan for next year. So this is why this kind of moment of reflection, this mid-year check-in, is so important, because there are things happening that are contributing to your success that we've got to extract and put in your backpack, put in your tool belt, that you know will serve you in the future, that we need to bring some conscious awareness around. So don't skip that question. Really drill into what has been contributing to your success so far. And even if you don't feel like you've had a super successful year so far, there has been something that has created some sort of success for you. So make sure you dig into that. Now, just as important is really looking at what's been getting in the way. And this is kind of like your moment of truth and honesty with yourself. If you really think about what you want in your year, whether you know your goals or whether you just kind of wished your year was a little bit different, you've got to be honest enough to say, this is bringing me down. This is getting in my way. I've got to let go of this. This bit of awareness can be such a huge game changer when you kind of call yourself to the table and are willing to share what's really been getting in the way for you. And again, I'll share some examples with you. Sometimes it's people going, I worry way too much about what I can't control. A lot of my time, a lot of my energy and my bandwidth is always thinking about what could happen. And that's getting in the way because I'm not in action as much as I should be. I'm always overthinking, worrying, and I'm not doing what I need to be doing. So that could be getting in the way. It could be worrying about what people think. Fear of judgment, fear of failure, fear of putting yourself out there. So maybe you haven't put your business out there. Maybe you haven't put your voice out there because you're afraid it won't be accepted. That could be getting in the way. I had a client the other day just write down my own excuses. always coming up with a reason I can't do something or a reason I failed on my commitments. So it could be as simple as your own excuses. And again, when you dig into this question, I mean, think about it. Not very often do you get conscious and reflect on what is getting in your way. Now, if you do my morning mindset journal, it's a question in there that I ask every single day if you're doing that reflection part. But even checking in mid-year here, you've got to be aware. Are you on social media too much? Are you not connected to the right people? Are you around negative energy? Really dig into maybe what could be holding you back. And again, just make some notes on that. And then the next question I want you to ask is, what are you most proud of so far in 2024? What are you most proud of? And again, I want you to open your mind to what this could be. It doesn't have to be a benchmark of success. It doesn't have to be you being on track for your goals. Just what are you most proud of? One of my clients wrote on hers that she had elected for a massive surgery and was really proud of that. It was a super courageous thing for her to do. That didn't have anything to do with her work or financial goals, but that's what she's most proud of. So really think about, what are you most proud of? Maybe you let go of what other people think. Maybe you've made some really hard choices in relationships or friendships. But give yourself credit, because again, when we think about your own confidence, your drive, your motivation, you need to acknowledge yourself for the things that you've done, whether it's been hard, challenging. You have to give yourself credit for what you really are proud of. Super important to fuel yourself and to give yourself the acknowledgement that you need to keep going after what you want. And that's the 6 questions. 6 simple questions for you to tap in to awareness that you need to really say, how is my year going? And what do I want to do about it? And you'll notice most of these questions are reflection questions. They're just creating that awareness. I didn't lead you into what should you do now? What do you have to change? All of that, because that's more of this action-oriented process. All I want you to do right now is have the awareness, because if you just have the awareness, that's going to grow. You can't unknow what you know. And all that is step 1, just knowing. You get to decide whether or not you want to do something about it. I don't want to force you to take action on it, and I don't want you to jump into action right away. I want you to really sit with what you've uncovered and then wait a couple of days. Wait even a week if you want to. And you can come back to this reflection. I want you to reread what you wrote down or listen to this podcast and re-answer the questions, and then ask yourself this one question. What do I want to do about it? That's it. And this is going to be a little controversial for some of you, but sometimes people don't want to do anything about it. It's just how it is. Maybe you set a goal that you don't even really want anymore, that you don't even care about. Again, I'm not here to judge you on it. You get to have the awareness around it, and then you get to decide whether or not you take action to do something about it. This process, if you've read my book, The Non-Negotiable You, I talk about taking responsibility. And that's what this is. You're taking responsibility to know what you need to know, and then you get to decide what to do with it. That's taking responsibility. If you decide, I'm not going to do anything about it, and I'm going to continue to have the year that I have, even if I don't like it, that's your decision. That is your responsibility. But either way, when you take action on deciding that, you get responsible and you get out of victim mentality. And that's really where you want to be, into a place of empowerment. So with these questions, you guys should have some clarity. You should have some opportunity, and then decide what you want to do. So I hope this kind of turned on a couple of light bulbs for you to create the awareness that you need. We're halfway through the year. You have plenty of time to do something different if you so choose to. Again, I will link the worksheet and the online assessment if you want me to see your results in the show notes so you can complete that. But give yourself this gift of awareness. Take some time. And if you want to give it to somebody else, forward this episode. It's a whole, we finished at 20 minutes here, you all. 20 minutes to give someone the gift of awareness and the opportunity to make the change they desire to have the 2024 that they want, leading into the life that they want. If you have questions or comments, you know where to find me, angiewisdom.com. You can send me messages, DMs on Instagram. I'm always there for you. But create the awareness and create the life that you want. Take care.